Welcome back to the Money Matters Radio Network, 217 June night. I am with Greg Sheehan. He practices in federal immigration assistance. We're talking about that this half hour. So, Greg, tell us, as a practitioner, how do you assist private individuals?
Well, the private individual will call my office and basically find out if they qualify for immigration assistance. So, depending on the purpose of their desire to come to the United States, we'll find out whether they meet some of the requirements that we mentioned before. So if it's somebody that wants to come here and establish a business, for instance, we'll have to figure out whether or not that their investment in the U.S. economy is enough to get them immigration benefits. If it's somebody who's related to a U.S. citizen, then we'll have to see what that relationship is, if it qualifies, how long it will take for them to get here. And then, even for businesses too, like I mentioned before, if they want some of the top labor force in the world, if they want the best doctors, going through an immigration attorney is going to save them a lot of time. So we'd have to sit and, basically match up the qualifications of the jobs that they are offering to the people that are potentially going to fill those positions.
So this is global, basically, and you assist people globally
Right.
from your office.
Right down the street
Amazing.
from Plymouth Rock. I'm on the phone with, with people from all over this country and other countries too.
Isn't that ironic, in a sense, the people coming over on those three ships
Right.
into Plymouth from different countries?
It's an interesting, and it's anecdotal too for my clients to say, well, Plymouth, Massachusetts, that sounds familiar. And then we talk about Plymouth Rock a little bit, and yeah.
And if they know what Plymouth Rock is, they automatically can get into the country. That should be a question. That should be like a history question.
Right.
What is Plymouth Rock?
How big is Plymouth Rock? Most people get it wrong.
How big is it?
Well, Plymouth Rock is probably about.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
And it's in a cage of some kind, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Like a little fenced-in.
Well, no, there's big white pillars around it, and it's made to look a little bit bigger than it really is.
Like most things.
Yeah.
Okay, so you actually have to turn some clients away before you meet them.
I do. Yeah. So through the screening process, we find out if somebody has the correct qualifications to get immigration benefits, and if they don't, and if we can't help them, we have to turn them away.
Okay, and I know, during the break we were talking a little bit about illegal immigrants. The term illegal immigrant is the subject of debate right now. Why is that? And just explain to us what's happening, at least in your world.
Sure. Well, I think the term illegal is pretty broad, but it's also pretty accurate too, because if you overstay a visa, then technically, you're not abiding by the law. But if you came here illegally without any papers and you sneak in, there's a little bit more culpability to that.
Oh, yeah.
From the public perspective. So from the legal perspective, there's more leeway for somebody that got a visa, made an administrative mistake that is technically illegal, just like speeding is technically illegal, or filing your taxes late is technically illegal. So for somebody that needs administrative help, we can certainly come in and try to fix the problem.
That's a big difference between the two. Somebody might be listening in now thinking, oh, he helps illegal immigrants get into the country.
Sure.
And you want to just let people know that is not what you do.
Well, I want to, the basic idea is that I need to find if my potential clients have the right to come to the United States and live here. And so, if there's a problem of, coming here the wrong way, then we have to look at that differently than somebody who came here the right way that just made a minor error that we can fix.
And you see a lot of those cases out there as well?
Well, yeah, I deal with the latter, and the former usually has to be turned away.
Okay. I know, because this is, it's such a heated debate in the news. And, it's good to educate people as well that there are different situations out there.
Right.
That don't always qualify somebody getting the boot.
Right.
And being taken away, so to speak.
It's a pretty harsh penalty, exile. I mean, if you've established a family here and you're getting torn away from your wife and family, that's a pretty harsh penalty, as opposed to somebody who just walked in, gets caught, they say, go back. It's not such a bad penalty.
Okay, once again, we're talking with Greg Sheehan. He practices in federal immigration assistance. And let's take a break. This is the Bloomberg Business Update.
This is a Bloomberg Business Week update. I'm Carol Masser. Google may lose the right to operate in China after Beijing objected to its efforts to skirt censorship controls. In March, the search engine company began automatically redirecting users on the Chinese mainland to its uncensored site in Hong Kong. Chinese authorities indicated last week that they would not renew Google's license if it continued the practice. The worst oil spill in U.S. history was not enough to prevent crude oil prices from falling nearly 10% over the past 3 months, the first quarterly drop since 2008, as the sluggish world economy kept a lid on demand. With growth expected to remain weak, prices may keep moving lower through 2010. From the auction block, a set of 1954 X-rays of Marilyn Monroe's chest and pelvis fetched $45,000 at a Las Vegas auction of Hollywood memorabilia, well above the pre-sale estimate of $800 to $1,200. I'm Carol Masser.
Mark, technician for Safelite Auto Glass.
The other day, my customer was washing his car. The cold water hit the chip on his hot windshield, and crack! If only he called Safelite sooner. When a chip's small, we can usually repair it in just a half hour with our state-of-the-art resin. A Safelite repair is so reliable, we guarantee it for life. Plus, with most insurance plans, there's no cost to you.
Let Safelite handle the insurance claim for you. Just call 1-800-800-2727.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Sometimes, when I'm telling people about all the ways they could save money on their car insurance by switching to Geico, I start to get carried away. I'll get to the part about multi-car discounts, good driver discounts, discounts for cars with airbags or anti-lock brakes, and suddenly I'll realise that I haven't even been talking. I'm just daydreaming about savings, and then we're just left with these awkward pauses.
For a free rate quote, visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Keeping an eye on your wallet is what we do best. It's the Money Matters Radio Network. Send the Money Matters team instant feedback at moneymattersboston.com or call in with your questions at 888-205-2263.
It's 2:24. This is the Money Matters Radio Network, the midday edition, June night until 3 o'clock. Yes, our web address, moneymattersboston.com. You can see us sitting here hanging out, looking over tons and tons of paperwork, and drinking coffee and water and eating apples and goodness knows what else.
Need to hydrate today.
Yo, you do. 16 counties now under this heat advisory until 7 o'clock tonight. And I don't know about you, but I know after 7 o'clock, it's not going to feel much better.
No, it's not going to. It's not going to feel like fall all of a sudden at 7 o'clock.
And you know what? That's fine with me as long as it's not winter. I really don't care. I'll take this. I'll take it. At least it's sunny until 9 o'clock at night, right?
Yep, we'll take that.
Okay, so Greg Sheehan is my guest today. He practices in federal immigration assistance, and we were making, the difference between, what you do, just so that people wouldn't think, oh, that's the guy that's letting all the illegal immigrants into the country. That's not what you do. You're helping people that, are not here illegally and, they're trying to get in. And maybe there's something little administrative, piece of paper that's blocking them from doing that.
Yeah, it can be any number of things. And it really just boils down to whether or not somebody is, whether or not the United States federal laws have pigeonholed this person and said you can come to the United States for this purpose. In that case, we can help someone.
And then, can the media take hold of this maybe and let people know that this is happening and it's not all illegal immigrants that are trying to get through?
Well, I think the problem right now is that there's so much happening, say, in Arizona, where the issue seems to be people that have snuck in that are the most culpable of this grouping of this term illegal. I think that whenever we hear about immigration, we think of that. And so it's really, it would be a tough burden for the media to say, okay, well, this is an example of people who are, here illegally and most culpable, but this is an example of people who are also here that just might have made a minor mistake, have come here properly, just need to fix their paperwork to make sure that they abide by the laws, the application procedures.
Okay, so let's talk about that Arizona law.
Mm-hmm.
From a legal point of view, do you think this is appropriate?
Well, it seems that there's two different laws here. The most recent one that I've heard of is that the state of Arizona is trying to make it hard for people who are born here to be U.S. citizens. And that's, it seems like an independent way to go, that Arizona is basically addressing its own local issues by trying to step outside of what federal immigration laws already are. So, I mean, if the United States decided as a society that we want that to be our rule, there's a way to do that. I don't think that Arizona is, necessarily right or wrong, but I think that the way they're trying to trump immigration law might not be legally the best way to go about it. And then you've got this law in Arizona where we have basically an issue where there's a debate between border security and the rights of citizens to be living without the tyranny of the government. So if somebody looks Hispanic, can they get pulled over? That's part of the debate. And I think that the debate comes mostly from people who are, from the civil rights point of view, I don't think anybody says that we shouldn't protect our borders. I think people are just saying that we want to make sure that people who have the right to be here, who have the right to live free lives, aren't pulled over just because they look like someone else. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where the debate comes from. I think it's very interesting here because also, if you look at the broader picture, from an immigration point of view, the United States economy, we want to have the best minds from all over the world come into the United States and work in our marketplace. So if we come across as a society that kind of, shuns people that look a certain way, I'm not sure that in the macro point,
broad spectrum.
Yeah,
of
in the
things.
broad spectrum of things, that's the best practice. But I don't know what it's like to live in Arizona, so I can't tell Arizona what they should do, and it's not my first instinct to rule out one of our brethren states. We should be United States, and we should all act together. It is one united border, so it's a very, very interesting topic.
It is. It absolutely is. Okay, Gregory Sheehan, how do we get in touch with you? Phone number and, of course, address, website. We've got about a minute left.
Sure. 1-888-99-GPS-LAW. That's 1-888-99-477.